newscast, so again, we're not professionals, we just play some on TV, so the idea being is that the camera here is what's actually being projected to Zoom. And on top of that, over here, we're recording it so that we can upload it to YouTube. So a little bit of a redundant way to do it, but that's the best way we figured out how to do it. Before we get started, and we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order here. Just a quick safety moment before we do anything else. Just a reminder again, the folks at TransStar have been very kind to go ahead and do this effort for us, so we thank their help and showing up on a Saturday morning here to help us out. The protocols for safety here are obviously enforced. We had to be scanned on the way in and temperature tested and so on because of the health situation that we're going through. If in this facility specifically, if you have to leave the facility, there are certain clearly marked exits, obviously here, right around there, clearly marked. In an emergency situation, that's what we would use. If you have to exit to go to your vehicle, you can go ahead and go immediately through the doors that you just came in through, and over to your right-hand side, there are some doors that will let you exit. However, if you do that, and you want to re-enter the building afterwards, you will have to go by that main entrance that we went through and get temperature scanned and tested, checked out again. So having said that, that's just a quick moment to keep safety in mind. And before we get through with our first item of business here, we're going to ask Don to cover some points for us. Before we do that, I was just handed this morning, and this is from Tom Uton's family, KI5III. He was a member that you might have noticed that he was in our nets. He joined our nets. Very active there for a few short months, but he passed away. He's a silent key now. And Hal has been very gracious to go ahead and be the interface between Oak Forest Amateur Radio Club and family of Tom. And of course, Hal is in the music. He's got a talent for music, so he went ahead and played taps at his funeral. And this is an appreciation from Tom's family. They go on to say, and I can pass this around to anybody that wants to see it. They go on to say that Tom always wanted to be in ham radio. He was involved with the hobby for about 30 years of his life. And just recently, he joined the Oak Forest Amateur Radio Club and really took over the hobby in force a few short months before he passed. So his family goes on to mention that they are very appreciative for us remembering Tom, and of course Tom added quite a bit to our club. So just a bit of memory there for KI5III, who's now silent key. The only other bit of business here, if you were here a few months ago, we had our, actually last month, now that I think of it, our Guide Wire Awards. And the idea with Guide Wire Awards, again, there was a spiel about it last time, so bear with me, is that in a tower situation, when you have a tower, one of these freestanding structures, they need to be guyed together. Or if you think of it as in a mast, in a ship, in a sailboat, the mast by itself will not stand, it doesn't work. You have to have a forestay, a backstay. If you're into the sailing area, your shrouds, you'll know what that's all about. In a tower situation, the guide wires help that mast stay up. So in that spirit, we do have in the club Guide Wire Awards, and we awarded 4 of them last time. One of them was a person that got away, and we're hoping to get him right here. This would be for Rusty Wilson. We'd like to award him. In appreciation from your peers, colleagues.
Thank you. Very, very, very fancy.
Well, yeah, sorry about that. But so we appreciate everything that Rusty does for us.
Thank you. I've been away for a while, and hopefully I'll be back. I was a little ill for about a month and a half with a bacterial infection, and I'm good to go now.
Excellent. Did the radio cure you?
No, it's some sort of antibiotic. Anyway, I appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
So with that behind us now, we're gonna go ahead and get started with our agenda. Just bear with us, we're gonna have some updates, much look after updates from Dom, and some talk about some interesting amplifiers that he's run into. We'll all be keen about that. Then we're gonna have a quick video that Barry found for us. Again, on the Marconi episode of The Hobbyist is quite interesting, in the first transatlantic communication. So we're gonna have a quick video on that, and after that, the idea being, we're gonna have a breakout session. Any questions that folks have, the idea is, just go ahead and ask questions. There's a wealth of knowledge here in this room, and yeah, and if we can't get the answer, well, we tried, so there we are. Anyway, so without any more, we're gonna go ahead with Don.
Okay, I have 3 issues or 3 pieces of agenda items, and I'll go. Dickens will be last, and I want to ask some questions with that, and I think it'd be easier with the flow to what I'm going to explain. This is you're coming into field day, coming into museums this weekend. I have 2 ICOM radios. One is a 746 Pro, which is 19 pounds, which is basically you're carrying around a bowling ball, for those who are into bowling. So that's not, that's not, and I have it now set for my home station. I did not want to tear it apart. But one day, I was about 15 years ago, I was out at Houston Ham Radio on I-45, and they had on sale the 703, which is the QRP version of the 706 Mark II-G, okay? And at the time, there was no code for HF, okay, except for a small section of 10 meters. But I was a tech, so I could go on 10. I also could go on 6. So about the radio, I said, even if I don't get on HF, it would make a good shortwave radio, okay? Well, FCC decided maybe the choice to drop the Morse code requirement for HF. But I kept the radio, okay? And the radio was wonderful during Uri. A lot of these, even your QRP on a big rig, 100-watt rig, the radio uses so much power on QRP, it's sometimes not worth it. I got one of those PowerWorks where it tells you everything what the radio is pulling. And even on 746 Pro, on low power, it's a draw. So, but good thing I kept the 703. The 703 got me through Uri. I was able to get into the Texas traffic net during Uri because Aries asked me, and in the local traffic net asked me if I could. I was one of the few people that had battery. I said, low power, blah blah. He said, Dom, give it a go. I was able to get into the 7290 net and the Texas traffic net on 10 watts. So, I mean, that's a little bit more QRP, it's low power. So I didn't want to keep the radio, but I didn't want to buy a new radio. And again, my setup is for ICOM. I did not want to buy another rig because of, antenna tuners, signal links and stuff like that. I wanted to stay within the ICOM family, so I didn't have to buy anything new. So right now there's no real ICOM mobile rig for HF. I think the 5100. One of them has the little portable thing, but it's not really mobile. Okay, so I decided to see if they had amplifiers. And remember, we're beginning to have the chip shortage problem. Okay, already for coming into museums this weekend. So this problem with the supply chains, everything was already showing up early in the year, okay? And I heard a lot of things from this company in Italy, it's called RM Italy, and they make amplifiers. And they're bricks. They're strong. And so I ordered one from, DX Electronics, which does a lot of, their stuff is pretty good. It's a little high, but it's good. And I got the rig. I tried it for museums this weekend. It worked well. I tried it again for field day. It worked well. It's okay. 5 to 7 in, it's 100 watts out on 10 up, 10 to 160, and on 6, it's 80. The thing with this rig though, and we'll warn you ahead of time, if you think icons are overcautious about high SWRs, this one makes icons look puny. If this thing even approaches 2.0 on SWRs, it will shut down. The SWR architecture of this thing is wonderful, which is a good thing. Also too, on the back, what I like about it is, I didn't bring the plug with me, but basically, there's a plug that plugs into here, and it doesn't come with a power wire. You provide your own, which I think is an actual advantage, because some people are either Anderson or they use something else. So you can, from the get-go, customize this power supply to whatever power cord system you're using. And I think that's an advantage. I'm using Anderson, so I got the plug, and then I have the two fuses, and then to an Anderson. So and again, the power, yes.
How do you connect that to your radio?
Bluetooth.
I can't see from here, so.
Oh,
You notice how
what I'm
there's-
gonna do is, I'm gonna send this around.
Okay.
Okay, so, no. Good question. I'm just gonna, the idea is, I'm gonna pass this rig around. In fact, I'm gonna do that now. Good question, Ralph. So, it's done a good job. I'm gonna start
So you just send me.
pass it around. It is a little heavy. What I did do though is I put those felt bombs on it, so it wouldn't slide, and it also gives you a little bit more heat sink. You get air from the bottom, and the heat sink on that thing, it does not get hot. So with that, is there any questions?
Yeah, I got another question. Okay, I'm unfamiliar with amplifiers, so here's my problem. If you got your radio and the antenna out goes to this device. Yep.
Yes.
So that way you have a load on your antenna side.
Okay, what happens is, okay, Ralph, the wiring would be radio to the amplifier, to the tuner, to the antenna. On this rig though, one thing for tuning, if your antenna is not resonant and you're using an antenna tuner, such as an LDG product, and you're changing frequencies, you need to shut this thing down. You need to tune on low power with your rig and the LDG tuner. Then you put this thing back on, because this thing, again, will not work. It will shut down if you're doing a tune with it. That's the only disadvantage, but other than that, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Would the tuner be outboard from this device here?
Okay, you would have the rig, the tuner. First thing in line would be the rig, the amplifier, the tuner, the antenna. And it's worked for me. So is there any other questions about this product?
Cost me.
About $750, but
How much?
No, wait, at $650. But that was, it was $650, but it was again before museums this weekend. So I don't know what the price is now.
Okay, thank you.
But that should work with a 705, right? That's the new QRP.
The new one, yes.
But I don't know. I'm used to the older icons. That's the 703, 706, 746 generation of radios. I'm not familiar at all with 705. You are. Yes.
I apologize for all the questions.
No, question. A good question.
Okay, I noticed on the machine you actually changed the band on the amplifier. Has a.
Okay, you can go either direction. You can manually change, or it will automatically change.
Okay.
If you got the you can do both.
The radio will send the correct information to the amplifier.
Yeah, the radio will sense what band you're on and automatically go.
Why would a power supply need to have the band? That's what I'm kind of fuzzy on in my brain.
Not a power, you're supplying 12 volts into it to provide power to the amplifier. It is an amplifier that takes the signal from your low power rig, QRP or whatever, and amplifies it up to 100 watts. So,
No, I had a band, it has band selector on the.
Right.
That's not power. See, that's what I'm trying to say. That's not a power question. It was why did it need to know what band it is? Because it just wanted to up your power.
well, it's probably got filters in line for specific frequency ranges.
Remember the other thing though is that amplifiers, and maybe Paul can tell us more about it, but the way I understand it is that, like Barry was saying, that there's some parts of the circuit that actually work for particular frequency ranges. It's not just the entire 3 to 30 megahertz range that the amplifier is going to work continuously. It's got to be different segments of the circuit kick in. So I think you're telling it, hey, optimize for 30 meter band or optimize for 40 meter band. So then the device needs that input so it knows, hey, what kind of frequency band am I going to get? So, some bands actually you don't amplify as much as other bands. I think that's what Don was saying. In other words, for 20 meters, it might give you 100 watts, okay? So the amplifier works at 100 watts. You know, from 5 takes you to 100, you're happy. Then you change out, and this is just hypothetically, but say you go to 15 meters, it's not gonna give you 100 watts. It might be maximum at 80 watts. So the characteristics change depending on frequency range.
And this rig, like I said, only puts out 80 for 6.
There you go.
So it fits which, because remember 6 is, it's HF, but it's not HF. It's in that shadow.
So does that make sense though?
Does this make any sense? Hey, Rob, does this make sense?
There's your rig and this.
Rig, then you have the coax to the amp, then you have the coax to the tuner, and then you have the antenna.
So Dom, is there a bypass button on that?
Yes,
Where
there
you
is a
can
bypass.
say,
Yes.
Don't use the amplifier, go straight to the antenna.
Basically you shut this thing off. Yeah.
But you're still going in and out of it through the antenna.
I have
Yeah,
a
but
que-
I mean the bypass switch is turning it off.
I have a question though, Barry. Why would you want the bypass? Under what conditions or what?
Well, as Dom mentioned earlier, it's like when you first tune up your antenna, you probably want to do that at low power. You don't want to have a full 80 watt.
Okay.
I see.
On this radio, what you would do is change bands. You hit the off button, and then when you hit the off button, it goes into bypass.
Okay.
And then you tune your antenna and you know
Do
your
the antenna, and then you put your radio on. If you're not, if you need, and like museum ships or POTA or field day, maybe you might have a good day when you're hitting people with 10 watts. So you don't need the amplifier, but some days you do need the amplifier. You kick it back in. It's a process you have to learn. It's not the same as just having a 100 watt rig with an LTG IC 100. But to me, it's a brick, and again, it gives me a backup for my 746 Pro in case that goes down.
Do you have to use the push to talk input, or is it automatically sense when you're transmitting and switch the receiver circuit out?
On this, you can do it manually or automatic. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so I imagine it's sensing power from the rig, and if it sees more than 100 milliwatts or whatever it is, then it says the transmitter's in transmit mode, therefore turn on the finals.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Is once you turn this thing on, it goes on to automatic sensing. It will change the band for you. Although you could manually change the band itself,
Right.
and then it starts sensing. To push power, it will start sensing SWRs and that sort of thing.
Could you use a 2-meter simplex and use that as an amplifier?
Yeah.
You would have to. Okay, this is an HF amplifier only.
Okay.
They do make They make 2-meter and 440s. I do not have those products, so I cannot tell you.
So that one goes to 6 meters or not?
6 to 180.
So,
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
You're extra, right? Yeah.
7,300 costs $1,000 on sale.
Mm-hmm.
With free shipping, retailer. It gives you 5 watts to 100 watts. It plugs right into an AH4. It tunes itself. It automatically drops the power down. Does everything. It's plug and play. Why in the world would you spend $650 on this amplifier?
Okay. One question was, I was looking at that option. You could not get 7300s at that time.
And now,
And I needed this, I needed something for field day, okay? Does that make, this is, okay. One reason why I got this with the 703 is I had already had the 703 and I wanted something smaller to be portable.
Sorry, Paul, what was the question again? I was doing something over here.
If I was, okay, let's put it this way. If I was doing this for a home rig, 703 would be my first choice. But this is supposed to be a portable operation, so I wanted something smaller.
Right. But you have a 703. I don't understand. What happened?
703 was a portable version. It's been discontinued for years. But it was related to the 706. It was a portable.
So,
portable rig.
what was your
Replaced
question?
by the 705. I asked a 7300
Yep.
cost $1,000.
Right at.
Okay?
Right at.
Right at. You plug it into an AH4 antenna tuner, and you rock and roll.
Yeah, you can go up to 100 watts.
You can do 5 watts to 100 watts.
Yeah, 1 watt, yeah, okay.
Okay?
I just want, but even though, what I'm saying is I wanted something a little bit more small. Okay, I've seen a 7300, it's a nice rig, but I wanted something smaller in size, okay?
Well, the 703 was discontinued years ago.
Yeah, but it still works.
But that's fine, but you can't go out and buy it now. A 705 costs a fortune. The batteries for it are something on the order of $200 a piece.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
It's a, I did not want the 705, period. I'm the one, period.
Right, but you're talking about integrating a piece of equipment that has been made in years.
It still works. I mean, there are people out there that still use, what we call it, what's the company that you have to build stuff with? What was the name of that company?
QRP Labs? Or
No, who was the name of that company?
Heathkit?
Heathkit. He was there using Heathkit stuff. As long as you get it on the air, who cares how old your equipment is?
I'm old.
Well, I guess I'm trying to kind of knit between your comment and where would you use it. I guess with my limited experience right now, I would say if you had it, I guess a rig that didn't have the capability to go up to 100 watts, and you didn't want to throw it out the window, you would go get an amplifier to be able to mimic or do what the you know. I mean, that's an application for it, right?
And really right now, even with the 7300, it's a good rig, but I'm gonna say something here. It's a nice rig, but to me, it just doesn't have this, it doesn't feel as sturdy as the 703, 706, and the 746, 756 line. It seems like ICOM is not the same company it was 15 years ago.
It's about 1,000 times better than it was. The 7300 was written up in QST.
Last 2 months we've had
Reviewed in
80
April
VEs, and today we're
2016 as a game changer. The radios, the amateur radios will never be the same again.
I think I'll buy one. Oh, I like it.
I think you should.
I buy this.
I mean, it's just.
Okay, is there any other questions about the amp? If not, I'm gonna go on to what happened last week. Last week, there was a, and unless you got it on Facebook, you didn't get it. And I got to the guy and said, you need to start advertising earlier. There was a tailgate sale in Lufkin, Texas last Saturday. I don't know if any of y'all heard about this. And was the guy who did this was Terry Moon. I think he was a member of this organization, or at least he knew about.
Terry belonged to the club.
Yeah. So I went up there, and what they want to do down the road, and I'm just saying this, you know, Dallas does not have a ham fest anymore, okay? What this club wants to do is the Deep Texas Amateur Radio Club wants to do eventually, and this is a start. They want to have Belton East eventually. They want something in Lufkin. Now, what you might ask, why would you want to have a ham fest in Lufkin? Well, Lufkin is in that perfect place. You have almost, you can get 45 and even 35 to the west, Interstate 49 to the east, 20 and 30 to the north, and 10 to the south. It's what, a 2 hour and 15-minute drive from Houston? So it's a sweet spot, Houston, Galveston, Golden Triangle. So I went there and I'm just saying, they wanted to, I used the word Belton East, because we have no ham, except for BVARC, we have nothing here. And in a sense, to me, traffic the way it is, it's 6 or 1.5 dozen never where I live to go either to Rosenberg with all the traffic and construction now on 69 South, or go up to Lufkin. So I mean, I'm just saying, I'm hoping this would be, hope this works for them, and it gives us another opportunity for a ham fest. And maybe they can do it maybe 6 months. You know, we can have BVARC on one in the spring, and they can have it in the fall. But I'm just letting you know what went on in Lufkin last week. Okay, lastly, I have a question to ask about the club, about the Victorian Internet. How many people are going to come with me that Saturday to go down to Galveston?
Could you tell us more about what the
Okay,
Victorian?
remember, this is the event that is the STEM event. This is not a operating event. This is where I went down with the keyers. I borrowed Ralph's keyers. Barry, you went with me, and we were demonstrating Morse code for 8 hours on Dickens on the Strand. Because remember, between 1812 and 1870, there was no wireless communications, but there was wired Morse code with things like Western Union and other companies. And again, I applied to go, but I need to ask how many other people are willing, want to go.
What day is it in December?
Okay, it's the first Saturday. I think that's the 5th. Fourth. Is any of y'all wanting to go? Because here's the thing is, this type of event, you need more than one person. And I'm beginning to wonder, if nobody wants to go, should I by myself go? Because that's going to be too much on one person.
My suggestion is to put it out on the reflector and try to get some guys there, because, you know, that's your option.
Because, you know, at this point, we're 6 weeks out, so I think if we have to back out, it doesn't look bad, but I just don't want to back out a week before. Okay,
Sure.
Does that make any?
Yep.
But I just wanted to have a club input into, I don't want to do things unilaterally, okay? I want club, because I'm representing the club. You know, I just don't want to do things unilaterally. Yes.
Question, so what time on Saturday?
The time would be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you know what a Strand is? It'd be on the Strand.
And what would somebody who's going with you do?
basically, I have some keyers, I'll borrow, Ralph, you don't mind buying your keyers, right? Ralph?
How?
How? How?
Yeah.
I don't mind you,
I was putting down the dates.
okay. Okay. If you're not coming, can I borrow your keyers?
Sorry?
Can I borrow your keyers?
Here. I don't have any keys, Jared, I need to talk to Ralph.
Ralph, okay, Ralph isn't here, okay.
Ralph's on the.
He was, I think he signed out.
He was on the call.
He was on the call.
Okay.
His Zoom dropped out, he can try to get back into.
Okay, well, I could talk to him, I can text him later, okay. Okay, so,
Somebody who they can keep.
what I'll do is, I'll get on the reflector and see if more people wanna go. But if I don't hear too much response in like a week or two, I think I'm just gonna back off, cause this event, and Barry, you were with me last time.
Right.
You almost need 2 people to do this.
Yeah, it's, definitely you need to have a, reliever, if you will, a guy go out for food or whatever, and, you just can't be there 100% of the time, restroom break, whatever.
And take the time to enjoy the festival.
Well, yeah.
So I have a question. Something came up just now, got me thinking. Do you have to be able to code Morse code
No,
to be able to attend?
No, I'll tell you what I did. We'd have the people walk up, kids and their parents or whatever, and, we have these little cards that Ralph had made up that have the Morse code. Each letter, what the dits and dots patterns are. And I would challenge the kids when they walk up, they grab one and they start, of course, all they wanna do is press buttons and hear sounds or whatever. And they would go around and find a key they like. And then I would challenge them, I said, well, send me your name in Morse code, and they look at the card and they, one letter at a time, look up the code and do the dots and the dashes and on the key, and I would say, they would send me the thing in Morse code, and I would try to interpret what they were doing, and I would tell them what their name was. So the kids got a big kick out of that.
What was fun though was, Barry, I was banging out SOS in Morse code, during this, and we were in fact.
Well, by the way, Ralph just signed up over there again, so if you
Okay.
want to reach out to him, but.
Okay. Hey, Ralph, you there?
Take your mic off.
Okay. Basically,
He's muted.
okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Hey, Ralph, I'm gonna need your keyers for Dickens. You got that? You hear that?
Hey, Ralph, did you copy that?
Well, we're getting Ralph on our line here. Basically, our booth was right here. This was an entrance. Barry, you remember this?
Right.
People were coming, adults were coming in. I was pounding out SOS. Because, that's what everybody knows. Adults were coming by and asking us if we needed help.
That's great.
Adults. And we were asking the adults, where'd you know this? Now, in movies, if they do Morse code, be very careful.
Now?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
We hear you.
We hear you, Ralph.
Just lost their audio.
Okay. In movies, if they do Morse code in a movie, listen very carefully. It's usually SOS. They keep repeating SOS.
I think they're plugged in, speakers, so
So,
we can't turn them
and then we were telling people, in case of an emergency, SOS is good to know. Flashing a light during the 9/11. They found people in the buildings, in the street buildings. People were banging SOS on walls, pipes, and stuff like that. So knowing SOS, if you don't know any other Morse code, it's good to know. One time I was on interstate, I was on Cross-Town Expressway in Corpus, coming toward 37. I was on CD at the time. There was a trucker that lost his brakes. And he was down the way, and I go, which truck are you? He says, I'm the one flashing SOS and Morse code with my headlights. And I saw him coming, I got out of the way. So, even if you don't know the complete Morse code, I think knowing SOS is very
So you can hear
important.
something?
Yes.
So let me get on the reflector and maybe a couple of, and if people want to come, fine. If not, we, because I can understand something else though. A couple things coming up with this. People busy, it's holiday season. Number two, COVID, and there's a new variant coming on. I don't know if y'all know about this. There's a sub-variant of the Delta.
Nothing changed.
There's very reasons why people don't want to go, and I can understand that, but at least I need another person, and more the merrier.
I mean, I would go, but like I said, I could maybe do SOS. I don't know
I mean,
anything else.
it's more, it's, okay.
He just needs a body.
Just the
Yeah.
body.
Did you ask?
Yeah, I mean, I could go.
Yeah, and
Dead or alive.
Tears, Ralph has some tears, and he'll send us
Is he
a
on the
display.
reflector? Are you on the reflector?
Barry, yes, Barry?
I got a key.
Okay,
I'll be there.
you'll be there?
Yes.
Okay, so we got at least two.
Is he on the reflector so he can tell you? Is Payne give you stuff?
Who's not on the reflector? Everybody's on the reflector, right? Okay.
So you can't hear us?
He did nod his head.
Yes. Is everybody on the reflector? Yes or no? Okay, so you're not on the reflector. You? Okay, so we need to get you guys, talk to Barry, get your email, and then, or send a note to Barry, or however he gets it on there. So everybody, that's the main form of communication for the club, is if you're not on the reflector, which is basically just email distribution,
If the sign
you're not
was
gonna,
just circle him, hand him
I mean, I think, I get your deal on my email about the testing and stuff.
right, that's different.
That's different.
Yeah, that's because I have a separate list from the
Okay.
group, from the OFARC.org
Yeah.
email, okay?
Okay,
So, okay, so everybody's, see Barry, and let's get that going.
There's a link on
Okay, so let me get it
the
over.
just click on that, send me an email, and, I'll get you in.
Hey, Barry?
Okay.
Hovering over KG5 IRR, we see mail to webmaster, or, the email address is there.
Right.
So just click on that and it'll bring up your email client. Your computer's playing nice, so there we are.
There you go.
Great page, a lot of
It
information.
is it's amazing. All this information is in here. And also, I noticed that the minutes of our, our nets, if you're wondering what was gonna happen, it's
Go
also.
back up. I think a lot of people are unfamiliar with our webpage. Click on meetings,
You click on the meetings there.
there you go. And there's the quick minutes that Steve does after every one of our nets. Those are all posted, as well as minutes if Mark does them for this meeting will be posted. So, a wealth of information there, historically, what we've been doing is all in place. So we don't have the minutes from this past Tuesday, but all the rest are up there.
So unlike Vegas, whatever happens on our nets doesn't stay on our nets, it comes over here. So if you're wondering who was there, who wasn't there, sort of, now bear with me, I'm jotting these down as I go, and
Oh, it's great, Steve. We love it.
and I'm listening to Hal's jokes that make me crack up and lose my thought train right
I
quick.
haven't heard any laughter, so I haven't noticed.
I can't imagine why.
Crickets mostly.
It's a tough audience, it's a tough crowd. But yeah, anyway, so this information is up
We
there.
have a whole lot of doubles if everybody was keen up to laugh at you.
I mean, the last one was, I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon, I'll let you know. Oh, I heard two laughter this time, so that's good.
Oh, which one came first? Oh man, I mean, eventually it gets there. It's a delayed reaction.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Well, one last thing, I noticed that, and again, maybe it's all had to you, but maybe it isn't. Barry has also modified our website so that we have YouTube links. Now remember, a lot of stuff more and more with YouTube is just the latest technology that's enjoying a lot of, traffic. So there's a lot of resources there. And for ham radio, there's a lot of resources on YouTube.
Can you show them where the link is on the page?
Let's go do that right now. So if you go back to the main site, again, this is OFARC.org. And from here, where are your YouTubes there, Barry?
Up on that top banner there, YouTube's down.
Okay, so right here.
Oh, you added it. That's good.
So that, if you've haven't been to the website recently, this heads up that there's a new link up there for YouTube. You click on that, and you see a lot of podcasts that maybe, again, you know about, but maybe some of them are new, and they pack some good information, so you might find that interesting. And also, by the way, like I said, we have our own YouTube channel, so.
Yeah, scroll down to where YouTube's heading is, and then those are.
Right,
there's
so
the
again,
four
whatever
channels.
happens here doesn't stay here, it gets into YouTube.
Right.
That's great. Really cool.
So yeah, good deal. Thank you very much, Barry, for taking care of it. Okay, so I think the only other thing we had, oh, I'm sorry, you had.
Here we go. We're doing a little bit of soft dance
Oh,
here.
God.
Oh, we need a Rick.
Okay, so so what we could do is go around the room real quick so everybody knows who's here. So we have who? Elijah?
Yes, Elisha, KF5WFB.
Okay, good to see you. We haven't seen you in a while.
Rusty Wilson, WD8JJR.
Okay.
Bobby Kosar, KI5ECT.
You just have to look at your tag to see your
Yeah.
call. Dom, we know Dom.
Yes? Down, that's like TCD.
Okay,
Ken Wenzel, KW5, KEM.
Ken,
Al, KG5OIR.
open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Barry Vasile.
Well, that got a lot
Think you've
of
heard that one
Yeah.
before?
Barry Vasile, KG5IRR.
The webmaster extraordinaire.
David, KI5RSQ.
All right, David.
Donald, KG5EFN.
Paul,
Paul, KI5, KG1.
All right, and then we have Alan, W2WF.
Steve.
Yeah, I think that's me.
What's your call? What's your call again?
I'm sorry?
What's your call?
KB2WF.
Oh, KB2WF, yeah, it's
KB2.
such a WF, so our TransStar volunteer, thanks very much. Okay, and then Mike, we have Mike Knoll. Okay, W5OFT, okay, we, take it away.
Okay, here's another one.
Okay. You need to entertain the crowd one more time.
Okay,
because I
yeah,
don't
we
know.
got a couple, sorry, we're a little short on these today, so. Has everybody signed the sign-in
You
sheet
got it.
so far?
People back here have.
Has,
It's all
do
there.
we have,
check for Elijah.
yeah, we'll check, we got Elijah. What's your last name? Williams?
Yeah.
And then what's your call again?
KF5WFB. Yeah.
I'm getting old, I can't remember all this stuff. So it looks like we got most everybody passed their tests over there, so we had a pretty good test session.
Is this, okay, this is what I need.
Okay.
We got a few that you need to check, so
Okay.
so they can get out of here.
All right.
Okay, let me go ahead and start the video that Barry sent us. And we'll go ahead and that'll give us some time to do some business.
So Stephen has announced that we're gonna be watching a historical video on the Marconi transatlantic transmission. And this one comes from one of the YouTube channels from TX Factor that is on our link, linked on our webpage now. And there's quite a lot of good ones there. And but I thought this would be a good introduction to this channel. About the, we don't have to watch the whole thing, but it's like the first 15 minutes is all about.
Further north of Bolt, some equally stunning views to enjoy. It's a little windy today. I'm on Sniper Stone, a hill dominating the skyline southwest of Shrewsbury in the heart of England, close to the Welsh borders. I ventured this high to prove that with antennas, size isn't everything. What really makes a difference is how high you can get it, and how being part of the Summits on the Air reward scheme can keep you fit and get you some big signals from some stunning locations. who worked very hard to tell the incredible story of Marconi's Atlantic Leap, both to visitors to the Marconi Center and to radio amateurs around the world.
Wondering these guys didn't cancel.
So definitely a very good video. Thank you, Barry. If you remember, I think it might have been last month, maybe the month before then, we had a very slick production. I think it might have been History Channel or something like that, about sort of the story. But you got the nuts and bolts here. This is actually the people that have the know-how, and they were telling you, hey, this is exactly the historical aspect. Without the glitz of History Channel, I like this very much so.
Don's getting that kite for his antenna.
There is a TX factor, I think it's maybe episode 3, if memory serves, about a guy who does a lot of experimenting with kite-borne antennas, skyhook type stuff, and I found that pretty interesting also. So you guys might go delve into that.
So we have TX Factor linked in the YouTubes? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll take you to their channel, and then you'll just have to search for that.
You have to get extra field day points for that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But-
What, carrying an antenna?
this guy had been like building kite-borne antennas for like 20 plus years, and he was a real expert on it. It was real interesting.
Yeah, definitely. TX Factor is a find. If you haven't heard about it, you might want to delve into it. There's one episode in there about solar physics and about the propagation and all that stuff, and it gives you quite a bit of an idea. So if you want to delve into that, so there are different episodes that cover these different things, but from a different perspective, and a little bit, as you saw, in depth. So a little bit of the techie side of things. Anyway, well, I hope this was a good meeting for you. This is all we had scheduled, really. We had planned to show. Again, we've been looking at the Victorian internet for pretty much, we've talked about it on and off now for about a year. So now it's finally coming up, so hopefully we can count on your support. Be on the lookout, please, on the reflector for any communications or more specifics about what's going to happen. So just FYI.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Has anybody ever thought, and this is probably a very question, most hand groups have a Facebook presence. Have we probably still going that route?
I have not heard of a critical mass asking for Facebook. Personally, I don't do that. So, but I mean, if the club wants to do that, I guess somebody could manage it from the club. But
I'm just throwing that out.
yeah. So I don't do that one. But again, if the club wants to do that, please come see me afterwards, and we can start the ball rolling. So anyway, hopefully that was to your we met with your agreements and your expectations. At this point, we usually have what we're scheduling as a breakout session. So any questions that amateurs might have, have been having a problem with this, or how do you do that, the wealth of experience is here. So please, thank you very much for your attention, and then just feel free to hang around and do the workshop portion of the class.
Tell Jeremy we missed his coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy, we missed your coffee.